For the past 2 seasons, the most exciting clan wars have been between Meet Your Makers and 4 Kings. But this season, lackluster performances by MYM and 4 Kings' lack of a 4th king could mark the end of their era. This is the Playday 5 matchup between Meet Your Makers and 4 Kings on Imba Video. I'm Seed with Civilian Jones. Welcome to Imba Video. Over the previous 2 WC3L seasons, Meet Your Makers and 4 Kings have played 7 times. The score has remained extremely close, with 4K winning 3 out of the 7. However, the last 3 matches, including the WC3L Season 9 Championship, went to Meet Your Makers.
Both team managers realize the importance of the match. 4 Kings is looking to break their tie with Mousesports for first place, while Meet Your Makers need to avoid their 3rd loss this season. While both teams respect each other, a rivalry has been formed. Nuke, the manager of 4K, said, quote, "We expect this clan war to be probably one of the hardest this season, if not the hardest. I can't really give any predictions. For sure, we are willing to get our revenge." And now over to Seed for our first match, Todd versus Vera.
Todd, who's undefeated this season, facing off against Bara on Twisted Meadows in Game 2. The first game went to Todd with a fast expansion on Lost Temple. For some reason in this game, Todd thinks he can creep right next to Bara's base, even though Bara knows he's creeping there. To complement the first retarded choice, Todd also chooses not to use his TP. If he really wanted to lose, Alt F4 would have been faster. The third match is on Echo Isles. Todd opens with another fast expo. Bara uses his raiders extremely well, taking out all of Todd's footmen. Things are going perfectly for Bara. He now has army dominance as well as tech dominance. All he needs to do is put up his own expo, and the game is over. But the Mountain King has a different opinion on who's winning the game. 2 well-timed bolts put an end to Bara's fantasies of beating Todd. With 2 hero kills, Todd is able to buy himself more than enough time to let his expo win him the game. Todd avoids his first loss of the season and brings 4 Kings out to an early 1-0 lead.
This is the second match of Fav vs Moon. And look at that Beastmaster surround. Fav won their first match on Twisted Meadows. We already see Fav putting the pressure on Moon. Throughout the game, Fav gets 3 hero surrounds on the Beastmaster. Moon TP'd out of the first one, but he didn't buy another TP and dies in the second 2 surrounds. With all the harassment, Moon isn't able to do anything except defend. Fav wins, hands down. So Seed, in WC3L, Moon has played great. He's been rivaling Grubby. Fav is a good player, but traditionally Moon has been better than Fav. What do you make of that?
Well, Moon does well, except Fav's playing style here was just perfect for this matchup. The Night Elves in the Undead Night Elf matchup need their high-level heroes, because the Beastmaster will provide the meat that takes the grunt of the Undead army, except the very low Beastmaster, due to Fav's constant pressure and the fact that he killed the Beastmaster many times, just kept his hero level so low that Moon really wasn't able to do anything with it, and without all that frontline fodder, the Night Elf army just gets owned.
In Game 1, Moon built a weird expansion near Fav's base. Tree of Life near the south. What do you make of that?
Well, we see Moon doing this in many games, and it's just kind of this weird thing that he does that throws people off because you don't normally scout that expo. But the problem is that Fav is putting so much pressure on him that he just naturally sees it by the fact that he's in that general area being near Moon's base so often. I don't think that this was the play that Moon should have done in this situation, but it's good that he's still trying these weird out-of-the-box things.
An interesting statistic to look at is that Moon, after this game, is now 1-4 against Undead, and Fav is now 4-0 against Night Elf. So Fav's playing a matchup that he likes.
Next up is Grubby against Lucifer. Grubby trying to give 4 Kings a quick 3-0 lead. Here, Lucifer is forced to TP, but he's still in this game, only being down by 3 food, 52-49. But as close as the game is, Grubby has an expansion, and Lucifer is forced to try and take it down. The extra income for Grubby is just too much for Lucifer. In Game 2, it's the same story, only worse. Grubby gets his expansion up much earlier and quickly wins the game and the series 2-0. So, Civilian, in both games, Grubby won by getting his expo up and then just sitting on those resources. How was he able to get those expos up?
While Grubby was putting up his expo, Grubby was stalling Lucifer's army. He wasn't fighting Lucifer's army to win. You can see this when their armies are prancing back and forth near Lucifer's base. Grubby is using his raiders to tie down the fiends, and Lucifer is unwilling to move his army without his full army strength. He doesn't want to leave any fiends behind to get gobbled up by Grubby's orcs, and he also doesn't want to miss out on one fiend playing. Grubby plays this really well.
Yeah, now Lucifer did kind of counter this in the first game by breaking a couple of ghouls off of his army to try to take down the expos. It helped him, but not as much as he needed, and he didn't even do it in the second game, which contributed to his further beatings. And now we're going to transition to the fourth game in the Clan War, Susira versus Creo.
Here we are in the second match of Susira versus Creo on Lost Temple. Creo is trying to do a quick expansion. It's a gutsy move, and Susira takes advantage of it and decimates Creo's base. That wasn't a wise move by Creo. Creo should have known not to expand against an aggressive player like Susira. Maybe there were hints of Susiria's nature in the first game that Creo should have noticed. Let's look at where the players creeped in the first match. 3 places were creeped. There's such little creeping because Susira constantly attacked Creo. Creo should have thought about Susiria's aggressive playstyle and changed his strategy for the second match. Susira smacked Creo around for the win.
The final match is the 2v2 with Grubby and Zeus playing against Lucifer and Moon. Game 1 was a quick win for MYM, but this game is shaping up to be a base race. Zeus's base is just getting
But look at Lucifer's base! Here we have Grubby and Zeus taking advantage of Lucifer's absence. You gotta love Grubby's catapults. Good against dryads, and good against buildings. Just look at that stronghold go down. What are Lucifer and Moon doing about this?
Moon's over owning Grubby's base, but he only has a small army. If they aren't careful, Grubby and Zeus won't have a single base between the two of them. At the least, it doesn't look like Grubby's main will fall to this army. Grubby's town portaling back looks like he'll be able to take Moon, but Moon smartly decides to get out of this ugly situation.
Wow, it looks really close. Meet Your Makers, in red, look like they're a little stronger. Seed, how did they pull ahead?
Lucifer and Moon put up a mid-game expansion, and even though Grubby and Zeus took it down, the extra resources won MYM the game. Those additional resources were even more important than normal, because both teams were down to only mining from one base.
Though in the big picture, Seed, Lucifer and Moon's victory here is futile. Meet Your Makers has still lost the clan war 3-2. Seed has been looking into maps played in Warcraft 3 and WC3L, and here he is for this week's rant on maps.
Every game starts simply with a map. Players base their strategies on certain maps, from the fast expansions on Lost Temple to tower rushes on close positions of Turtle Rock. But the current WC3L map pool has a distinct lack of vitality. All but 3 maps are more than 3 years old. I have watched and played countless games on all of these old maps, and quite frankly, I'm getting bored. These maps allow for no innovation. Major Warcraft 3 tournaments are awesome, not because I get to watch the same strategies polished to perfection, but because a few players bring new strategies to the table. Korean StarCraft leagues change maps every year, if not more frequently, while Warcraft 3 lies stagnant. Battle.net recently announced the winners of their map-making contest. Why not adopt a couple of those maps into professional gaming?
Top play number 5. Barra and Todd are fighting, and Barra's Torn Chieftain is getting smacked. Barra is going to teleport away, and at the last second, Todd puts a lightning shield on one of the grunts. He hopes that the Torn Chieftain will get killed by the shield, but Barra reacts too fast. Later in the game, the lightning shield is used again. You see the Mountain King getting surrounded by the orcs, but up goes the shield, and the Mountain King scares them away.
At number 4, Lucifer against Grubby, Game 1. There are a lot more top plays coming from this series. Fairly close battle, but Lucifer is forced to TP out. Make sure you watch that one Destro, it just gets a little too far away.
Top play number 3. Lucifer's Death Knight is waiting at the orc base. The Farseer TP's in and the DK kills it. When the DK is running away, half a minute later, it gets ensnared by raiders. DK gets out of the first ensnare but is ensnared again. Grubby brings in the reinforcements and has an effective surround, so the Death Knight has to teleport.
Number 2 comes from the 2 versus 2, Moon trying to save his DK, and ouch, the creeps just own him. If you look closely though, Zeus even gets the experience from the kill.
Grubby and Lucifer fighting at top play number 1. Grubby has brought a Goblin Sapper to his attack on Lucifer's base. That's a great way to bring down the Citadel. Lucifer is teleporting in, so Grubby has to teleport out. Unfortunately, Grubby just misses killing the Citadel. Next week we will be covering the Playday 6 matchup of SK Gaming against Mouse Sports.
This season, Mouse Sports is almost a Cinderella story. After finishing tied for 8th place last season, they're rivaling 4 Kings for 1st place.
SK, on the other hand, has consistently made the playoffs, but hasn't been close to winning for a while. Mouse has just recently been doing very well. I don't think they can keep it up. I think SK will come out on top.
Yeah, SK just has too many good 1 versus 1 players, even though their 2v2 team needs a lot of work. My prediction is SK winning 3-2. That's all for this week. I'm Seed.
And I'm Civilian. Thanks for watching. How did they pull ahead, Seed?
Lucifer and Moon put up a mid-game expansion, and even though Grubby and Zeus took it down, the extra roar.
Take 2.